Well, it has happened. It has officially begun. Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11 is real, guys. It's no longer, well, is it the next game? What's going on? Leaks, leaks, leaks. It's real. No more bullshit. And it's only coming out in 4 months. Which is I kind of feel like, I don't know, part of me feels like it's going to get delayed. That's just me. I'm kind of cynical that way. I mean, yeah, they didn't reveal it at E3, which means they had a lot more time to develop the game. And they just had more time in general this time around. So it makes sense if it's coming sooner than we thought, but less than 5 months? That's way too soon. But, I want to talk about the trailer and give my thoughts on it, like the Venom thoughts. Give my own personal spin on what they're trying to, show us. Because at this point, we know, except for the MK9 reveal trailer, all the reveal trailers for the games, teased something. Injustice was like, the first trailer they released for that game was just, I believe, it being like a DC fighting game. That was about it. MKX showed a lot of stuff that made it into the game, like stage interactions, X-rays coming back, one of Scorpion's fatalities, and a lot more. Injustice 2 pretty much showed the gear system, and let's be honest, it's obvious Mortal Kombat 11's showing something. And, I think it's cool, I pretty much lost my voice for several different reasons. One being screaming at the top of my lungs for not just MK11, but Ultimate Alliance 3. A game I thought would never happen due to so much legal bullshit. But it's happening, even though it looks like a Marvel mobile app. But we'll not talk about that. We're talking about K11. The trailer starts, in the ruined version of the, what is it called? The MK1 stage, where there's the monks and the moon cookie soldiers. And they're pretty much, with Shang Tsung's on his throne. MK2 had their own version. It's that stage. And it's like in shambles, it's dark. The monks are now skulls. Everyone's dead. You see Scorpion fighting Dark Raiden. Everything looks really cool. I think this version of Scorpion's still human. To my knowledge, because in the gameplay screenshot, he has pupils. In the trailer, he does not have pupils. But in the screenshot, he does, which means it's Hanzo Hasashi with the Scorpion powers. But I don't think that voice actor's coming back from what I heard, so that's gonna be weird. But in the trailer, it's wide eyes like Scorpion. But you see them fight. You see Raiden pick up a giant staff. Attack Scorpion with it. Stage interactions are coming back. And then Raiden's fighting Scorpion, and he pulls out a sword out of nowhere, and it's like a completely different gameplay style. And it's not just, oh, let me just grab the knife and slice you for like 1 second. No, he brings out the sword and his mini sword and starts slashing away like it's an alternative style. In my opinion, because I've rewatched this trailer, I think several times, I think it's gonna be like the 3D era, where like you got your fighting style and your weapon style. At least in Armageddon, because in Deadly Alliance and Deception, I do believe it was 2 fighting styles with your hands and then a weapon. But I think they're taking what Armageddon had and just redoing it. So it's like a more streamlined version of those 2 styles instead of the variation system. Which makes sense, to be honest. I like the variation system a lot, but it was, for most of the characters, it was pretty much, you got 1 variation that's good, maybe 2, and then there was always a 3rd variation that sucked. And I just think it makes sense to retool it. Still, it's a variation system. It's just not the variation system from Mortal Kombat X, which I think that's a good thing. And then, you see Scorpion, he's pushing the daggers in his head, attacking Raiden, kind of like an X-ray, because it's like slow-mo, like when they show the X-rays. But it isn't, because you don't see the skulls and everything. Which, does that mean... Ah, shit, I think they're constructing outside. Alright, whatever. But does that mean it's X-rays, like a new form of X-ray, or is it just doing that for dramatic effect? I still think X-rays are coming back, and if they're not coming back, then it's gonna be some variation on it, like X-rays, but without seeing the skulls and stuff. Kind of like when they patched in. For those who don't know, when Mortal Kombat X came to PC, modders took like Sindel, Raiden, Baraka, and they made them playable. And then when you did an X-ray on them, they didn't show the bones, but you still saw like the blood come out in the insides. I think that's what they're gonna try to do if the X-rays don't come back how they are. Because I've seen a lot of people complain that X-rays have like only existed for like YouTube. Like, you on YouTube, all X-rays and it's pretty much a video. I mean, I don't think that's the case. It doesn't seem right, but so I can see where they're coming from, especially super moves in Injustice 2. Like, they pretty much stopped an entire match when that happened. When you did a super move in Injustice 2, everything stopped so they could show you the cinematic. Where in Mortal Kombat X, when you did an X-ray, it stopped, but you could go back in the momentum pretty quickly. And then Injustice 2, it just pretty much killed it, which I understand. So who knows? And Raiden did the same thing in the trailer, by the way. He pulled out a staff, starts hitting the fuck out of Scorpion, and then kills him. So Raiden also is pulling the same thing, where he pulls a weapon out of nowhere and fights with it like a completely different alternate style. Which I believe, again, it's pretty clear that's what's going to happen. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is when you see someone walking up this Raiden. Raiden turns around. It's yellow and black. People think it's Cyrax. I didn't think it was Cyrax because that'd just be a weird character to put there in the trailer. Unless Cyrax had like this major role in the story, which I don't think they ever would. Not that I don't like Cyrax. I love Cyrax. I'm just saying it's just a weird character to center everything around, unless there's like a really big reason. But it's revealed to be classic Scorpion. And I thought this was very interesting, because the second I saw that, I'm like, yep, time. Something's wrong with the timeline. It's either that, or we're going to visit the old timeline, or at least view the old timeline. And what I mean by that is, like, we're going to have, like, some god or whatever show the previous timeline, the one where Armageddon is, Onaga, all the 3D era stuff. They're gonna show like a little view of that timeline and all the events that happened, maybe what's happening after Armageddon or during Armageddon, or we're gonna visit it, which is gonna be weird. I'd love to see how, but not just, I don't think seeing classic Scorpion is teasing time related events in the story by itself. I think it's also teasing gear customization, because it's the MK3 suit, his ultimate MK3 suit, but his MK2 mask. And I love the gear customization in Injustice 2. It was fun finally getting pieces you've been long searching for. And let me tell you, it took a very long time. I finally got stuff like Staff of Grayson, the classic Bat Emblem, Nightwing gear. But, took a while. A lot of people don't like it because there's still gear people have not unlocked to this day because of how they made that system. Which I think the system was fine in Injustice 2. It just needed to be tweaked a bit. But I like how you didn't have to pay with real money for the loot boxes. I mean, granted, you have to pay for the source crystals with real money, which could be used for, in-game stuff. But that's besides the point. Point is, we see classic Scorpion. I think this is teasing events related to the timeline. I sound like a broken record when I say that. So does the entire community, but it's true. But not just that, I think it's teasing gear customization at the same time. Because knowing how NRS works, they're obviously going to try to do two things at once and kind of confuse people and get people riled up about what's what. And I just love that. But another idea is that it doesn't tease gear customization, but it teases that we're going to go back in time and visit certain events in the past. Because if you didn't know, sorry, you didn't know, in Mortal Kombat mythology Sub-Zero, when Sub-Zero meets Scorpion, he's wearing his ultimate MK3 suit and the MK2 mask. So he's wearing that exact outfit in the trailer. And I gotta say, I kind of like how Mortal Kombat has this thing with times and timelines, but hasn't gone all the way of full-on time travel. That was the original plan for Mortal Kombat 9, was just for them to go back in time during Armageddon and change things. So you get like 2 Raidens, 2 Scorpions, 2 Katanas like at the same time. But I kind of don't want them to do full-on time travel where they just go back in time and visit certain events, because that does seem a bit too much in my opinion. Granted, I think they're going to do it good. I'm just saying, kind of like how, it's just enough, just enough to get that feel without going full-on crazy with it. But personally, I think it's teasing shit's going down in the timeline, and gear customization's coming back, because it was successful in Injustice 2, and how NetherRealm likes to do their games is they like to experiment with stuff in their Injustice titles, and if it's good, it works really good, they'll bring it to Mortal Kombat and then see how that does. Because that's how we got things like the stage interactions from Injustice to Mortal Kombat. They came from Injustice, and then they brought them over because they wanted to try them out and see how it did. And I think that's going to be the same for gear. Because they realize, I think NetherRealm and WB realizes the potential with the gear customization. Because they know people wanted certain skins in MKX. Like Deception Sub-Zero, for example. People, they know they want certain skins. But what if you could, say, for example, get the body of UMK3. But then keep the face of, let's do Sub-Zero. You have Deception Sub-Zero's helmet. You have his ultimate MK3 body. And you can, his sword, you can give him, a sword from a different game. I can't really think of one right now, other than the Corey Blade, but we already did Deception. But, it looks ugly, but you can do, that still. The gear customization in Injustice 2, you could still make full-on suits, where it's, alternate costumes. They could do that. If they handle it right, I guess I would be open to it. If they do gear customization, what about the Crypt? What the hell would the Crypt have any involvement to do in the future of MK if they went with that route? And that's why I don't want it, because, they did the Crypt so well in Mortal Kombat X. I want to see a more expanded version on that, because that's paradise. But I doubt we're going to get that, unfortunately. Really hope I'm wrong. Really hope it's alternate costume still. But I'm just calling it how I see it. But, in the trailer, classic Scorpion kills Raiden. You see his spine, then pulls out the sword, and then, get over here. His kunais looks classic. The tagline's "You're next." And then, here's the big money shot, in my opinion, for this trailer. After "You're next," the tagline, which I think is cool, who's next in MKX, then you're next in MK11. The camera pans out. You see a giant hourglass. A lot of people thought this was Sub-Zero. I don't know why they'd be saving Sub-Zero out of all places for, the end. Again, nothing against Sub-Zero. He's in my top 10. I'm just saying. That seems a bit weird. But, you see a giant hourglass, and it's going backwards. So the sand's going up. And you see this new character. Brand spanking new. She looks godlike. She obviously has something to do with time. She's with the friggin' hourglass in the trailer. I'm sure everyone's talked about it. I'm literally, every single YouTuber who covers Mortal Kombat pretty sure has talked about this lady. I haven't. And I'm not a YouTuber. But, I want to talk about it. I think she is going to be the big reason why the story of MK11 is going on. She's going to be that new character that takes the shot. She's going to be explaining all this stuff involving time. She very well may be Jade's mystery woman. even though they look absolutely nothing alike, Jade's Mystery Woman does look like Lee May mixed with Delia. So, and besides, all we know of that character is that we saw the character, the Mystery Woman, in an ending of a video game from 7 years ago. And when this game comes out, 8 years ago. And then we saw her possess, well, it was Jade possessing Katana and Katana's MKX ending to see what it'd be like after the Armageddon crap. She lives apparently and kills Shao Kahn. So we know after all that crap is happening, after so many characters die, unfortunately, even Raiden, everything works out. Raiden should have never fucked it all up. That ending alone is telling the audience this entire timeline should not exist. You know? It should not exist at all. And Raiden should not screwed it up. Because everything would have worked out in the end. And I think that'd be really cool. Who knows? Maybe like she wants to erase this timeline and go back to that one, but she needs help from something because clearly she's not gonna be able to do it by herself. You know, maybe she can, but like, you know what I'm trying to say here. Like, there's gotta be a reason why she's bothering to interact with anybody in this timeline if that was the case. Maybe she's trying to erase this timeline. Maybe she's trying to merge the two timelines so you get the best of both. Like, you get the old timeline, all that lore is still intact. But hey, you got the Kombat kids, you know, stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. And honestly, I would like that if they handled it right. Maybe she is a worker, or like the assist, you know, that sounds stupid. She's like she works for Jade's Mystery Woman. Like the Mystery Woman needs someone physically in the world to help, you know, to help her in her goals, and maybe is trying to restore the timeline or whatever. Because the Mystery Woman can possess people, we know that, but like that's as far as it goes from what we've seen. Maybe to get the action done, there needs to be someone physically. Maybe she's possessing her. Maybe she is working with her, like Devore worked with Shinnok, like in that way in MKX. Maybe it's that type of relationship. Maybe it's the same person, just redesigned. You know, maybe it's a whole new character entirely. You know, maybe, just maybe the woman or person, whatever, is an elder god, right? She looks like an elder god. She actually looks like one of the elder gods. From what I remember in MK9 when they're talking to Raiden about it, she looks like that. Or maybe it's this woman in the Jade's Mystery Woman. They're in conflict of whether to keep this timeline or to get rid of it. Like, one's pro the current timeline and one's anti this timeline and wants to go back to the old one and, you know, get rid of this one. And then maybe at the end there's like some compromise. I'm just saying, there's a lot of ideas and potential story elements that's happening right now just by that one image alone. And I think that's the beauty of the Mortal Kombat story, you know? And then we know that the game's coming out April 23rd. It's coming out everywhere that day. And that's 3 days before Avengers Endgame. I don't know what I'm going to do that week. I can't contain myself that week. You got the movie of the century. You know, a movie you've been waiting for forever. And a game you've been waiting for forever of your favorite franchise. Like, I don't know how I just don't combust out of nowhere when that happens. And then we're going to get community reveal event January 17th. There's been some controversy about this. People are like, you know, I didn't get invited, this and that. But the real controversy from what I've seen, because it's supposed to be like, I guess, in a big event where like you get to play the game. And there's a lot of faces of the Mortal Kombat community there. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, kind of like what Nintendo did with Smash Brothers. But, there's a controversy that the older people from Mortal Kombat aren't invited, like Total MK, Tav Mach 99. You know, those people. I'm just spitting names. I don't know at all. It's weird how it's being brought up. Just my personal opinion on it. But it gets even better. they've revealed, and if you're watching the reveal of Mortal Kombat 11 at the Game Awards, you couldn't see this. They didn't show it. You'd have to watch the trailer again on YouTube, and then you'd see it. That's how I found out, and I was just flipping out because it was like an extra surprise. But if you pre-order, you get Shao Kahn. He's the pre-order bonus. Again, I should have saw this coming. It was clearly obvious. But, again, it was pretty cool. His design, though, is really interesting. Not because it's like, oh, it's cool looking. Because it's so different from the character. He looks like he's out of an anime. He really, really does. He's gold and red. His horns on his armor goes all the way up. And he looks, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm looking at the image right now. If I'm not mistaken, this could just be me. You could still see a bit of his chest wound from Liu Kang. That's probably just me, but he still looks like Shao Kahn. So it's not like this wacky, radical design that looks barely anything like him. It's still Shao Kahn. It's just a very different design. But if you look at him, and they clearly pointed this out, it was obvious too. Shao Kahn's arm, I believe his left arm, is like dragon-like. It's dragon-like. And it's gray too. And this might be the first time that NRS does a pre-order bonus character that's actually involved in the story. And if that's the case, I'm kind of against it being a pre-order bonus because it's still technically DLC. It's on-disc DLC. Same with Goro and Darkseid. They were on-disc DLC. So, I mean, it's kind of bad. But I think it would make it worse if it was part of the story. And then it's like on-disc DLC. That's just robbery, in my opinion. Also, there's some series that he might be Shang Tsung in disguise, which is also interesting. Like from what I've read on, Ermac had Shao Kahn's soul. They alluded on it in MKX through intro dialogues, and I think some other thing. I kind of forget. Maybe not. I'm just maybe making that up. I forget. But they alluded to him having Shao Kahn's soul. And if Ermac's MKX ending is canon, Shang Tsung surprise attacks Ermac and takes all his souls. So he has souls. So does that mean Shang Tsung has Shao Kahn's soul? Because in this 3D era, Shang Tsung's suit was all red and all gold, very Chinese-like, and this Shao Kahn is giving me that vibe heavily. Which maybe means this Shao Kahn's actually Shang Tsung. Because Shang Tsung can transform. He can shapeshift. That's one of his things. He could easily be shapeshifting into Shao Kahn in the story. With this armor. Alluding to his 3D era look. You know, and he took Shao Kahn's soul. And maybe he got fused with Onaga. I don't know. I don't know why his arm is dragon-like. Like, what if he is using Onaga? What if it's actually Shao Kahn? And he's using, Onaga's cells to keep himself going. Because maybe he's a revenant. Because that's another theory going around. Because in MKX you see, like, this huge body with a giant, like, punched hole in his chest. Reforming and deforming in Quan Chi's flesh pit when you're in that stage. And people think that's Shao Kahn. I still think it's Shao Kahn. I think they deconfirmed it, but he's got a hole that looks like a fist punched through it. He's big. Quan Chi would be the only person to have that ability to bring back Shao Kahn as a revenant. They even mentioned it in his MK9 ending that he brought Shao Kahn back to, I think, help him with Shinnok. So, I think there's too much going against that deconfirmation. That was the case. Could not be. I'm just saying, I just think that was just them trying to die down something so they could hold what in the future. But not just that. If you pre-order, you get beta access for the the beta, which is interesting because if you didn't know, was MKX enhanced online beta and Injustice 2's game beta. You have to sign up for something, and then you get an email with a beta code, and they would do these waves of beta codes being sent out every once in a while. So if you didn't get it right away, you could maybe get it on the second wave or the third wave and stuff like that. I mean, I got my MKX Enhanced Beta that way, and they would add characters slowly to it, so because they wanted to test that new netcode. I didn't get a code by WB for Injustice 2. A friend on Twitter actually gave me a code. Very nice of him. He didn't have to do that at all. And he knows who he is, so if he's listening to this, then didn't have to do that. Really appreciate it because it was fun playing the beta. Because there was some gear in that beta that didn't make it in the final game, and I thought that was really cool. And it wasn't like MKX Enhanced Online Beta, where like the game's already out. It's just a new netcode. There wasn't that much surprise. But with Injustice 2, it was totally different, and I really missed that time. But this time, if you pre-order the game, you get automatic beta access. Not like you pre-order it today, and you could just download the beta. I mean, when they start making the beta active, you would have it right away, which is honestly a change for the better, because there's a lot of shit going on when they did the betas, because people would get pissy, like, I didn't get a beta? What the fuck, NetherRealm? But, I think this is pretty easy for people to understand, self-explanatory, no one would be bitching about it. Actually, I take that back, it's the internet, someone would be bitching about something. But, I think it's a change for the better. And another change for the better is them going right out of the floodgates, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Mortal Kombat 11 will be coming to Switch. I mentioned earlier how I think this game will be delayed. I could be wrong. But I do think it will be delayed 100% on the Switch. Are you kidding? I love the Switch. I have a Switch. I can't wait to get Ultimate Alliance 3 for it. Mario Odyssey is amazing. Smash Brothers is amazing. But I feel, how is the Switch going to handle a game like this? Part of me feels like they accidentally put the Switch in there to indicate that there's going to be a remodel real soon that can handle this. Like that rumor going around where like they're developing a stronger Switch, mainly for third party, so they could bring those games over with no problems. I think that might be the case, honestly, because I feel like the Switch would just break the second it starts to load a big game like Mortal Kombat 11. Like, damn. The Switch can handle MK11. It can handle anything. Haters need to shut the fuck up. But I think that's pretty cool. Switch. I might get the game 2 times. Unless it has gear customization, then I don't feel like going through the hassle. But, that's the Mortal Kombat 11 trailer. But there was information that did come out really soon afterwards. So this Italian retailer, might be like an Italian GameStop. It's in a different language. But there's been translations and it's pretty clear what it is. They leaked some details on the game. There's going to be a premium edition. So far, that's the highest edition. It's basically the Injustice 2 Ultimate Edition, but for Mortal Kombat. And it leaks its own combat pack. It's called the Battle Pass right now. That's a translation. And it contains 6 characters. Actually, I take that back. It's like, there's a Battle Pass, there's like 6 of them, and then there's 6 characters. But either way, it all translates to there being like 6 characters in the game. For DLC, at least. And, I don't know how I feel about that. Because if we're having, that's less characters we're getting than any, actually, sorry, MK9 had 4 characters. I'm just saying, MKX2, Injustice 2, no, sorry, Injustice, wait, is it? No, Injustice has 5, I have bad memory today. MKX2 Injustice 2 had more DLC characters than 6. Granted, MKX could have only had 4. They didn't have to make Kombat Pack 2. They did, and, I'm leaving that behind me. But, so, at the end, it was 8. Sorry. Injustice 2, I believe, had 9 or 10, if you count Darkseid. I love Injustice 2's DLC. But, 6 characters, which means 3 of them will be guest characters, 3 of them will be MK characters, Probably 1 out of 3 is just an original character, or like a character that's long forgotten, or a character that's, brought back from a rumor. You know what I'm trying to say. Like the Tremor, or like the Scarlet of the, Kombat pack. And then one MK character only some people really wanted, and then like only one MK character everyone wanted. Still won't be Fusion. um, but that's really cynical of me, actually. Why? See, this is the cynical part. um, they can't charge, comparing to like Injustice 2. They can't charge the same amount for DLC if you're getting less, especially if Shao Kahn's not counted. You know, and again, rough translation. They could do 2 battle passes or combat packs, whatever, both containing 6 characters, and that'd end up being the most out of all games, which I really agree with. More content. But the only way I don't mind there being less DLC for MK11 is if the base roster is bigger than any game they put out. Not the typical 29 characters, a little less than 29, maybe a little over 29. Not that typical stuff. I mean like 35 to 40 characters right out of the gate. If that's the case. Put more characters on the base roster, less as DLC. That's how you do. You don't put the same amount or less on the base roster and then do less as DLC. Because in the end, you're not getting as much, There's also going to be a steel case. I mean, they said the same thing about Injustice 2's, and it's technically a steel case, but it's not really steel. It's actually kind of, hold on. I think it's more plasticky, actually. Is it? No. The part that says Injustice 2 is metal, and then the rest is like a really hard plastic. So it's not really like a steel case, unless they're changing it this time. I don't know. This is like a foreign language to me. I'm reading it off a fucking Twitter account. But it's been going around a lot. Yeah, so that's about it. Really excited for the game. But I think I rambled on a lot. I think I rambled enough. Pretty much, I think gave myself another day of, loose voice. But it's alright. It's all good. Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11, the community shall return. It's already returning. We're going to be talking about the game all day. Alright, thanks for watching. Please follow me. Actually, if you were watching this, you already followed me. Or somehow got to I don't know. Whatever. Goodbye.